This size difference is insane.
Good morning, everybody. It's a lovely Saturday morning, and it's time to install our front-mounted intercooler from CVF. Let's go ahead and get this thing in the air.
All right, so we have two options of getting the car in the air. We have ramps and we have jacks. I think I'm going to use the ramps. It's going to be quite a bit easier for me.
All right, so we had to pull out the wooden boards just because my driveway is not completely flat and it's on a slight incline. All right, so first thing we have to do for this one is go ahead and remove the bolts so we can take out the headlights. Just like that. Cool. All right, so now we're just going to go ahead and remove these little pins, and all you have to do is use a flathead screwdriver.
So now we have to remove the hood latch. All you have to do is pop this up out of this little housing right here. Don't do that. Just crack the plastic. But then you just pull this out to give it a little play. Move this wire. And that has been disconnected. All right, so after you have the hood latch attached, you need a T30 Torx, or you could just use like a flathead to get this bolt undone, and then same for this bolt. And then we're gonna go on the underside and get this little, I don't even know what it's called, but we're gonna get it removed down there as well. All right, so once you get those two bolts off, same T30 Torx, this one, and this one, and this one. Actually, just all of these. I failed to realize that I only took out the top of the pin, and I actually needed to pop out the, okay, the entire pin. Don't do that. Thankfully, it didn't break. All right, so now we are under the front bumper, and we have these pins across the underside of the bumper that we have to remove, and then also we're gonna also have to remove this, which means we have a couple of these bolts that we're gonna have to remove all the way around. All right, so after you get all the pins out, which I have not done yet because I'm getting annoyed, you have to just use a T30 Torx and start removing these bolts. So we got this one, and we just gotta get all the way down along the line. So after you get all the T30 Torx bits from underneath the bumper, what you have to do is come on over to the fender and get off this same T30 Torx, and then this one way up here. Mine was pretty loose, so I'm actually just going to use this and get it in there and see if I can untighten it. There we go. All right, so after you get all of the bolts out from under the bottom, you just have to disconnect the bumper from the fender, and all you do is just kind of pop it out. Because there is a pin that I do something with. All right, so in order to get this last piece of the bumper out, we have these first two out. There is one pin that holds it, and it is right there. All you have to do is get your pin tool or a flathead and get that pried out. All right, so after you get this popped out, all you're gonna have to do is get this little part from under this anchor. So what I did to get it out, you could actually lift this up a bit. I didn't realize it was able to do that. And then all we have to do is do the same thing for the other side. I still have to go under here and get this last pin out, but then from there, all you do, lift this up, pull it back, and you'll be good and disconnected. All right, so after you finally disconnect this, your bumper's gonna be free. You just wanna make sure that you're disconnecting your fog light harness. All right, so now that we have the bumper off, we're gonna go ahead and remove this. You still need a T30 Torx. So just go ahead and get this bolt removed right in there. and then same for this one, and it should be able to just pull off. All right, so down here we have the active grill shutters. These open and close actively depending on the speed, and so it helps warm up and cool down your car supposedly, but they're out of here. They gotta go. And then behind that is the stop intercooler. If you guys haven't been able to tell by now, this is my first time doing this, so I'm trying to remove the active grill shutter, but it is caught on that little prong down there. I don't know why I zoom so much. So trying to give it a little play to lift it up and then pull it down, and that should free it on both sides. So I ended up removing this little crash bar, whatever it was called, from right here. Okay, just so I could see if I can get this a little bit more play, and I got it disconnected from that prong and this prong on both sides. And now I'm just trying to figure out a way to get this to pull out. I mean, it's one full piece, but it has, I don't know, we'll figure it out. All right, so apparently you actually have to disconnect the intercooler first. So I'm about to start working on the pipes, and then I'll take off the intercooler just so I can get the active grill shutters removed. And then I'll show you guys the comparison between this old super tiny intercooler versus the new one. So in order to get off these clamps, it's a 7mm, or you could just use like a flathead. And then to get off this bolt, it is an 8mm right at the bottom. You just rinse that off, and it's going to be the same on both sides. After you have that off, you're able to pull out the intercooler and disconnect the AGS harness. Well, right here, the AGS harness, and then you'll be good to go with this removal. All right, so we finally got this clamp disconnected, and now we're just trying to get the charge pipe pulled off. All right, so coming over to this side, there is the MAF sensor over there, and we need to make sure that we get that disconnected before we try to disconnect the charge pipe. All right, so I got off one side. I had to use a pry tool, got the active grill shutter out, and now I'm working on getting this charge pipe off. It is really hard to get off. We did it. All right, so here we have the CV fabrication, or CVF front mounted intercooler. This thing is significantly larger than the factory one that comes with it. Now I'll actually do a size comparison for you. This size difference is insane. So here we have the tiny factory front mounted intercooler. It's extremely light, and this, I don't know how it cools anything. And then we have the upgraded 4.5 inch CVF intercooler, and let's go ahead and get it installed. So these are the two intercoolers side by side. As you see, there is a massive difference, and I'm really excited to get this installed. But I figured while I'm here, I actually have a big mouth, or the snorkel mouth ST thing, but it's on my red Ford Focus. So I actually might go take it off of my red Focus real quick and plop it up here and see what that looks like. All right, so here we are with Ruby, don't mind the paint. And here is the snorkel. It is very not set up straight, but it's basically the same thing. All we have to do is the hood latch and then remove these 4 pins, and I should be able to lift this up and get it pulled off from the snorkel right here. So I also need to go ahead and grab a T30 Torx just so I can get those 2 bolts out, and then this will have full play to move out. All right, so we got the snorkel on from my red Focus, and I don't know how I feel about it. It looks crooked, but that's as straight as it gets. I don't know. And then obviously it doesn't do anything. It's just for looks. So I don't know. And on my other Focus, it just, I mean, it didn't, I don't know if it came with the little bolts or pins for these holes, but you know, I didn't use it for the other car. So when I took it off, it literally just came off. And I'm trying to see, because I wanted to use these, because this one does have the actual holes for it, because it's for an ST or the RS, but I don't know what goes in there. The pins, they don't reach far enough. And then this stock piece only had the 2 pins, so 1 on each side, so that's all I have. So yeah, I'm trying to figure out what I'll do with that, but we're about to try to get the actual intercooler back on, and yeah, I'm gonna set you guys back up. So I decided not to go with the big mouth intake or the ram intake. I just don't care for how it looks. But now what we have to do is take off this MAF sensor, and we are going to, I guess it goes right here. Yep, we're gonna put it right here and then screw it in, and then we'll be ready to actually install this back to where it belongs. I'm ready to be done with this. Forgot to mention, but I had to do a little wardrobe change because it's getting kind of hot out here, and I was wearing an all black long sleeve compression shirt. So let's switch it up a little bit. This is a T20 torque bits screw. Just plop that in there. Disconnect it. We will just plop out. It's hard to do with one hand. Let me put this down real quick. There we have it. Yep, it's just like a little it's a rubber seal right here with some plastic on the bottom. All right, so I was just having a slow moment. I had the intercooler upside down. Don't be me. But basically, you just go ahead and plop that in there. To tighten it down, you just need to go ahead and grab a 10 mil and get that secured up there. All right, yep, so we found a 10 millimeter attachment for a ratchet. Lock that up there. I don't know where my small ratchet is, so we gotta use this one. All right, so to get the intercooler back up there, you have this little ledge right here, and then this little plastic bit. What you're gonna do is this bottom piece is gonna rest on this ledge exactly where we took it off from. And this piece where it has this notch, we're gonna slide it up under this. So you're gonna wanna kind of tilt it upwards to get it hooked onto this, and then it'll lay flat right here. And then we'll be able to bolt it up how it had with the, I think it was a 8 mil. And then once we have it bolted up, it'll be sitting there enough for us to fully tighten it and get the charge pipes back on. There we go. Now we have it the way it's supposed to be, and we're gonna grab our, I think it was an 8 mil somewhere down there, and twist it back up on the bottom where we took it out from. Can you see this? Where am I at? There we go. All right, so after you have them bolted up from the bottom, don't mind the glove, make sure that you don't forget to reconnect your MAF sensor. And then after we reconnect the MAF sensor, we're going to get the charge pipes back on, and we're going to use the clamps that CVF included to get it tightened back down. All right, so finishing up putting it all back together. Gonna run to the auto parts store, pick up some additional pins since the ones that came off of the bottom of the bumper are horrible, they're destroyed. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab some new ones. Had to bring out Ruby, but we made it to the local Advance, and let's hope that they have these real quick so I can just, you know, get that quick replacement in. But I'm very thankful that I have this second car. All right, so we picked up these 2 pieces. They're mixed match, but they have about the same diameter. So hopefully it'll work. I'm gonna go ahead and head back to the house and put the rest of it in. All right, so what we did for the active grille shutters, we ripped out the little control module and put it back in here, tied it under this, which is the charge pipe, and zip tied it up just to make sure that, you know, once I put the bumper back on, it doesn't throw a code in case I didn't reconnect this. Of course, I could have disconnected the fuse, but I wanted to keep it as OEM as possible-ish. And this is how it's looking. It is mounted back up properly, and it's tightened well. So yeah, all I'm gonna do now is start to put the this little undercarriage or splash guard. Gotta put the splash guard back on under it, but that is how she's looking right now. And as you see, it's been a long day. So yeah, almost done. I'm super excited because I want to drive this thing and see how it feels. All right, so ended up just taking off this piece. I don't even know what it's for real. I guess it's more ram air, but got the bumper on. It is secure. Now we just have to reverse the process and put it all back together. All right, so I'm on the highway right now. Gonna go ahead and downshift and floor it, kind of see how it feels, see if I feel that original heat soak that I used to. So up top, it definitely feels like it's pulling a little bit harder just off of that initial. Let's do another one.
Again, with that stock intercooler being so restrictive, this just opened up a lot more power. Up top, it pulls hard, and even through the lower RPMs and the lower gears, it rips. I'm not going to say how fast I was going. I did take a trip into Mexico, and let's just say my fourth gear went a lot faster than it's ever gone ever before. Big shout out again to Jason and the rest of the CVF team. This install went perfectly. It did take a little while, but you know, it went in perfectly. It fits perfectly, and the car drives amazing. If you don't have an upgraded intercooler already, go ahead and get one. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.